Hey there everybody, welcome back. This is JP Letnick and I'm joined here with me today.
My name's Emil and I'm their new assistant.
Excellent, and he has a few questions that will probably help any of you that are looking to get into real estate moving forward. This may give some insight as to what we do in the industry, so take it away.
So JP, what was your first deal and what did it feel like to be a new realtor?
Okay, and just to preface this, I don't really know all of the questions. This is going to be a lot of it's point blank. So first deal that I did, going back now to 2015. Now, the nice thing about this is because I already knew I was going to be a real estate agent and we were going through the course and I had time, I was promoting to everybody that I was going to be in real estate. So I was kind of planting those seeds so I could harvest them as soon as I got my license. So essentially, right when I got my license, the first month, I had 2 deals. And that was one of my friends that I actually worked with when I was in high school at Cooper's Foods, which is now, it's the grocery store, Urban Fare. So he actually sold a townhome with me and we needed to find him a place to buy. So that was, basically it was just boom, first month, 2 deals, we sold his place and we bought him a place. So that was my first deal. It was kind of euphoric because everyone was telling you that when you get into real estate, you don't make your first deal for like 6 months. So knowing that we were able to get going right away was really important to me because we had just had our newborn baby daughter, which was 7 years ago. And yeah, so it was just really important for me to be able to get going right away. So yeah, that was my first deal.
What was your biggest deal and how are you trying to beat that now?
So our biggest deal was in collaboration with another agent that works with us, Tatiana. We have a mutual client that we work with. And I, of course, I can't name names, but that deal was roughly about $5.5 million for a Lakeview property.
Okay. How is the market downturn affecting your business now?
Market downturn. So this, we always kind of knew that it would eventually happen. It wasn't sustainable what was happening during COVID. Low rates, high demand, everyone was moving out from the larger cities, being able to work from home. That just was something that was happening. We knew the interest rates would eventually come up. We thought it was going to happen in 2018 where it started to happen, but then COVID hit. So we knew it was going to happen. So the downturn in the market is more of just a natural correction as to what was going to happen anyway. Just with the interest rates going up so quickly, it's been emphasized. So right now, where we're in November of 2022, the market is basically at a standstill. So as for how our business is, we are now focusing more on marketing and again planting those seeds because we have a lot more time on our hands versus doing 7 offers a day. So if that gives you an indication of what our market is.
Well, even now today, you've been busy. You've had at least 4 meetings and showings. Yeah. When are you thinking of retiring?
This is funny. I don't think we will ever fully retire per se. My dad, for example, he retired when he was 40 when we moved to Kelowna. He got bored after a year, then decided to get his master's and try to get his PhD and whatnot. So he's retired technically. We'll probably be in the same boat where we will semi-retire. We are planning to focus more on the back-end education of agents, less so on transactional basis. But we will still be doing the transactions that we want to be dealing with, which, you know, listings of high-end properties or clients that really like us, that we know very well, that only want us kind of thing, then we'll take those on. But for the most part, you know, that's what our retirement is looking at, is just spending more time doing things we want to do versus just being hustling on the transaction. Our goal for that is probably within the next 2 years. To be honest. We will still be transactional, but we'll be more helping grow other people's businesses. Like yourself, if you join us, we'll be focusing more on building your business.
Okay. How could you, what's the biggest deal that's fallen through and how could you give advice to other realtors that have had that problem and are feeling bad because of a deal that's fallen through?
For sure. So there's different stages where a deal can fall through. Sometimes before you even get an accepted offer and you might get a multiple offer situation. That's always hard for clients, especially in a hot market where you've gone through 20 houses and all the offers just don't go through because there's so many competition. Another thing would be, you've got the offer, you've negotiated it, and then they get a client for financing, whatever the reason is. The inspection comes up and there's issues that can't be dealt with easily. The deal falls apart before subjects are removed. That's fine, but again, still, if this has been a lot of work for a client to get there, for us, this is not necessarily like a heartbreak or anything like that because we know we will continue working for the client to get them the next best property that we can. But for clients, it's a little bit more difficult. Now, the hardest thing is, especially on our end of the spectrum, is when a deal goes firm, which all the subjects are removed, and you're expecting closing to happen, and then for whatever reason, we're dealing with this right now, especially in downturn market, something happens between subject removal date and completion date, and the deal can't go through. That for us, especially for the seller and the buyers, it's horrible, but especially for us as well, we've done all the work. We've put everything in. We've done all the due diligence. We've brought the deal to the finish line, and then we don't get paid. Everybody wants the deal to happen, and it has come full circle, but you trip at the finish line, and it's not fun for everybody.
Okay. How does being a multi-language real estate brokerage affect your business, and how does it make it better? How can it make it worse?
Good question. So that is definitely one of the main factors that we took into consideration when coming to Kelowna. We knew there was a market demographic that was underserved with regards to secondary language. Kelowna is definitely a melting pot of communities. There's a wide variety of languages that are spoken here. And when we first came here, Mandarin was definitely underserved. So having that kind of international branding and language skill really helped blow up the business quite quickly, because we're not cannibalizing on all the same buyers and sellers that are in the local area only speaking English. We bring in a lot of people from out of town, other parts of Canada specifically, not necessarily out of country, but they speak another language. So that's where most of the agents that work with us also speak a secondary language typically, and that also makes it easier for us to help them build their business because we can pass them those clients specifically because that's based on the need that is need to be served.
Are you trying to recruit any other agents with different languages? What languages are you looking for in particular?
So specifically, we don't actively recruit. What we found is that because of the work that we're doing, people just seem to be having been attracted to what we're doing, and then we just seem to have found the right fit for people. If there was a specific language that we're looking for right now, it's hard to say because some of our agents speak multiple languages. So it's just, if there is somebody who speaks a second language who wants to join us, feel free to contact.
Okay. What's the next step for Letnick Estates? How do you want to change it? How do you want to modify it?
So kind of back to where I said about the semi-retire, for Letnick Estates, we want to be able to see it grow at a sustainable pace, where we still are able to focus on the development of each agent. We don't want to become a standalone brokerage like Remax or Royal LePage where we have branches all over the world, because then we can't focus on the development of our agent. We want to be able to still be hands-on in the training and the growth and the lead generation for our agents. So I would say that the goal of the growth is that we want to be able to implement more training systems, have a little bit more robust software, such as like a client management software that we can help educate our agents on how to use. So just being able to step away from that transactional base and building up that arsenal of tools and education for agents so that we can be as strong and capable of an agent as possible.
Okay. And going on to that, why should sellers list with you? And why should buyers come to Letnick Estates to buy their next property or their first home?
Sure. So, double question. Why should someone come to list with us? Main reason for us is my background is in tech. It's in marketing. It's in online marketing specifically. We have a large background in videography, photography, online marketing, digital print media, things like that. The main aspect with us is that we can promote in multiple languages. That's been really the draw for most people that list with us. We will do the Mandarin speaking walkthrough. If somebody really wants to, we can always do it in different language with another one of our agents who does that language if they want to tap into that market. And then we actually get the professional photographer. We get the virtual tour. We have the full marketing thing. We also post on international boards where you need to know how to read like Chinese, for example, to be able to post on those things. If you're not able to read in different languages, then it's hard to do that. So that's where we set ourselves apart, where we have that higher bar for a listing agent. As for buyers, why a buyer would come and work with us is typically because of our honesty to a point and knowledge where when we come into a home, we're not just opening the door and saying all the positive things about the house. We're not trying to sell you on the home. I know a lot of agents that are out there, they will open the door and they'll tell you all the beautiful things about the home and the neighborhood and all these things. I will actually go in, I'll open up the mechanical systems, I'll take a look at the plumbing, and based on my knowledge of having done renovations and home builds and whatnot and asking inspectors and whatnot. I will give my honest opinion with a caveat to that they should get a home inspection. But I will give them my honest opinion about the home. I'll let them know if I walk in, if I feel it's been kind of settling a little bit. I carry marble with me, I put it on the floor, it rolls across the floor. I'll say, you might want to get this checked, or you might not want to buy this house. Right? If there's plumbing issues that need to be dealt with, we tell them. If the roof is old, we tell them. We're not sugarcoating anything, which is what an agent should be doing, but we know that that's not happening across the board. So if a buyer is working with us, that's been the biggest feedback to us, is that they're super happy that we're not just selling them. We're actually advising them on a good investment or a good place to live. And one more example on that. We had one client, we sold a property in Armstrong. They're looking to buy a new home. They sent me a house that they found on realtor.ca and they asked me for my opinion because they really liked the house. I let them know it's at basically a triangle where you've got an industrial area, an orchard on one side, and then you've got a lumber mill on the other. And the home is great. But I let him know, like, you're going to have sprays from the orchard, you're going to have noise from the industrial, and then you're going to have, dust from the sawmill. And it's not going to be great because he has kids. And his response was, my kids thank you, right? With a big heart. So it was just like the fact that was probably the most emotional response, was to really connect with that, because I have kids, where it is like, that's the reason we connect with our buyers so well, is we have their best interests at heart. We're not just looking to make a commission, right? If this is not the right house for you, don't buy it, right? I'm not here to just sell you the house to make my money. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that you get in a property that's the best fit for you.
Okay, well, thanks, JP. That's all my questions, and I appreciate the interview.
My pleasure. Thank you.